Hello and welcome to my humble home. I'm Chef Amy Symington, culinary specialist for HSI Canada. Thank you so much for joining me today. You may be thinking, Chef Amy Symington for Humane Society International Canada. Why does Humane Society International Canada need a chef? Because we have this amazing program called Forward Food. So myself and my team members provide resources, support, workshops, culinary demonstrations for large food operations Canada-wide. So basically, we're just a support network for any chefs who would like to get more plant-based items on their menu. And then I also get to do cool things like this. So today I'm talking to vegan superstar Liv B, recipe developer extraordinaire, video content creator, photographer, cookbook author, social media influencer, and newly wedded Liv B. So if we can bring her on and say hi without further ado. Yay! Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited.
Yay. Okay, so we're just going to dive right into the hard-hitting questions for you. I want to know a little bit more about your background. So I mentioned you do recipe development and you create video content for YouTube. You do some absolutely stunning food photography. You have cookbooks, and you obviously are a social media influencer. I would love to hear a little bit more about your background and how you came to the point where you're at today.
Yes. So I actually took a communications degree in university. And when I was in my third year of that, I was also doing YouTube videos just because I had recently gone fully vegan and I was super inspired by YouTube. Obviously, I feel like that's where everyone goes to first. They're like, what am I going to eat? And I started getting really into cooking. So I wanted to kind of share my recipes on YouTube as well. And so, yeah, it was in my third, almost fourth year in the summer. In between those two, my YouTube channel kind of took off. And so it became my full-time job as I finished out my degree. And ever since then, I've just been working hard on YouTube and Instagram and my blog and cookbooks.
Oh my gosh, and it totally shows. Everything's incredible. I was just checking some of your most recent posts today, but the Starbucks Christmas drinks, come on. I watched the video. I was like, definitely making that. And it's probably far, far better for you as well. Oh, that's so wonderful. Okay, next hard-hitting question. So for me, in terms of veganism, I've been veggie for about 17 years, vegan for about 10. And so for me, it was health. And then I, read a lot about health and then read some about the environment and the health impacts on going plant-based on that. And then also obviously animal welfare. But for you, for your journey in terms of, coming to a plant-based diet, what kind of drove you there? Was there anything in particular?
Yeah. So when I was in my first year of university, I started getting a lot of digestive problems. And, I kind of went through the whole process of trying to figure that out. And I was recommended to try cutting out lactose. And then I ended up cutting out red meat just all of a sudden because I found that was really hard on my digestion as well. And then over the course of, I'd say it was about 2 years, it was okay, I'll cut out chicken, I'll cut out fish, all of that. And partly it was for my digestion, but I find when you're looking into the health aspect of all these things, you can't help but stumble upon the animal welfare aspect. And I remember when I was 8 years old, I told my parents I wanted to go vegetarian and they were like, no, it's too hard. We don't know how to cook you separate meals, whatever. And then as soon as, so many years later, when I was reading into it, that it just clicked and it came back. And I was like, yes, I think I knew deep down all along, this is what I was meant to do. And so yeah, it was health inspired, but definitely the animal welfare is what drove me to fully go vegan.
Yeah, and stay vegan. Oftentimes that's the case. I think of my dad's first reaction when I told him I was going vegetarian. He's like, she's been brainwashed.
Yeah. Similar.
I should mention that he's mostly veg now, so he's also been brainwashed apparently. Very cool. Okay. So, your journey as a plant-based influencer, you have a specific special focus on simple, everyday, and kind of on a budget meals, which I love because the first question or the first statement people have after telling them you're vegan, well, it's so expensive. How do you do it? which it doesn't necessarily have to be the case, right?
Yeah, no, I mean, I was just so inspired to go that route because when I was in college, when went vegan, so obviously I didn't have a ton of extra money to be throwing at specialty vegan products. And there weren't even really specialty vegan products even back then. That was like 6 or 7 years ago. So, yeah, I had always come at it from a budget friendly perspective out of necessity. And then when I realized that people were really gravitating towards my recipes who were in a similar life stage as me, I was like, oh, there's a ton of people out there who are really looking for stuff that's easy and simple that you could make in a dorm room or make in a college house with your friends. So, yeah, it seemed to work really well. And then it just kind of progressed from there. And yeah, it's my thing now.
Yeah, and it's a good one. And you don't have to sacrifice flavor or taste, or like, they're so beautiful. If you look at any of your photos online, like, they just are absolutely gorgeous, and they look, yeah, you literally, your mouth starts watering when you look at them, and they're inexpensive, which is so great. And I also love that you use whole foods as much as possible, right? You don't have to use, as you're saying, expensive specialty ingredients. It could just be, legumes, fruits, vegetables, nuts, seeds, legumes, good quality plant-based protein, right?
Yeah. Yeah. All of those things are just, yeah, they're such staples. I feel like they're, available to most people and easy for most people to get. And it's when you start complicating things that I think it gets expensive. So just kind of sticking to the basics, like it's just so simple and it can be so cost effective.
Yeah. Agreed. Cool. Okay. Speaking of your beautiful photography, is there any sort of tips or hot advice that you can give people to make plant-based foods kind of more appealing to their, say, more carnivorous friends or family members? Is there anything that you would recommend including?
I mean, my approach is always start with desserts. Like I have changed so many people's minds about veganism with like a really good chocolate chip cookie. And, even if it's like my dad's friends who are over at their house and I'm there and I'm handing out cookies and my dad's like, oh, these are vegan. And they're like, what does that mean? And he's like, well, there's no eggs, no butter. And you can see it clicks. Like they're not even annoyed. They're just like actually intrigued. How can it taste so similar to the real thing? And so I always go at it with desserts first because that's what like hooks people. And then, yeah, I mean, there's so many things you can do. Like if you go to a potluck, just bring something that resembles a food that carnivorous people or, people who aren't vegan would enjoy. And then they're, much more likely to try it than if you just say like, oh, here's something that's vegan. Yes. I always just kind of put something delicious down on the table and let them ask questions about it and try it.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Totally. I love that. You win people over with their stomach and their taste buds. I think that's brilliant, but I like dessert first. I like that. I'm going to use that. That's so wonderful. Cool. Okay. Good tips. So speaking again of the photography, I want to dive into your cookbooks and get you to talk a little bit about them. So the inspiration so I have a cookbook as well. The Long Table Cookbook, Plant-Based Recipes for Optimal Health. My inspiration was kind of the idea of people coming together, sitting down at long tables and eating and breaking bread, and it being, socially, emotionally, and nutritionally supportive. For yours, you have more than one. I'm so curious to know what your inspiration was behind your books.
Yeah. So yeah, for the first one, so Vegan on a Budget, that one, I mean, like for my first cookbook, it was like, I chatted with my publisher and it was really boiling it down. Like what do people love about my recipes? They love that, they're cost effective first and foremost. People want to not spend a ton of money and like break the bank on food, but they still want food that looks nice and that you wouldn't feel embarrassed to serve to someone at, a dinner. Like I wanted it to be stuff that is budget friendly, but doesn't look or taste budget friendly, if you know what I mean. Like it's not lacking in anything. It's not lacking in flavor. So yeah, that was the inspiration for that one. And then for the second book, backwards, Easy Every Day. Yeah. So this one, we wanted to still keep it, like budget friendly and easy, but this one is sheet pan, one pot, and 5 ingredient recipes. So all the recipes in the book fall within one or more of those categories. And I love one pot recipes. Like one pot pasta is just my go-to. I have it like a couple times a week usually. And so, yeah, I just find that those 3 categories of things, like if something's 5 ingredients, people are like, okay, I can definitely make that. It's only 5 ingredients, I can do it. Or if you say you only need 1 pot or you only need 1 pan, it's like kind of clicks for people. It's like, oh, maybe I can do this, and it doesn't have to be, super complicated or time intensive or yeah.
I love it so much. And it just is like reminiscent of my life right now. Everything needs to be easy. I have 2 kids and then trying to work at the same time, going to school at the same time. You need, and again, you don't have to compromise on taste, and all of that, but like majority of recipes are comfort, like stick to your ribs, stodgy, like, not weird. Like we were just talking beforehand about our weddings and how, like, for me, I had a lot of my uncles who are just like big farmers, and at our wedding, they actually enjoyed the meals, and it was really trying to focus on, the meals that they're used to, but they just happen to be vegan.
Yes. Yeah. A lot of my husband's friends, they're not shy about saying what they think about vegan food. Like they're like, oh, is all the food here going to be vegan? But they were the first ones to go back for seconds. Like they absolutely loved it. And we were just kind of like, yes, behind the scenes.
Yeah. Ringing endorsement. And your cakes, by the way, looked so beautiful. Everything looks so wonderful.
It was so nice to have. Yeah. So it was my recipes, but my mom made it. And it was just like, oh, it was such a like full circle moment. It was awesome.
Oh, I love that so much. I didn't realize that your mother made them. I knew they were your recipes. I did the same thing for my wedding as well. It's so great. It's so great to add that like little touch to
yeah,
they're special. Well, congratulations on that. Congratulations on your book. Congratulations on all your wonderful successes. And one final question before we say goodbye. Okay, so where do you see plant-based foods going in the future, particularly in social media, and just kind of your hope for the future? So if you have like a call to action for your plant-based community that's following you, what would that be?
Oh, I mean, just in the last couple of years, I feel like plant-based food it's gone so much more mainstream than I even expected by this point. And whether it's, fast food chains getting plant-based options or just so many more options. Like when I was in the UK, Starbucks even had like a vegan breakfast sandwich, and it's just, they're popping up everywhere. And I think as long as everybody can kind of just approach it from like a positive perspective, and just by showing people how delicious plant-based food can be, or encouraging like meatless Mondays or trying vegan meals once in a while, like if you approach it from a very approachable way, I think that people are just going to embrace it so much more. And with so many more options being available, I think it's just like full speed ahead for veganism and plant-based eating. So it's just really encouraging, and I just think the positivity is getting us places.
For sure. I love that too. And like your stuff is so inspiring. So you're definitely contributing to that. Oh, thank you so much for joining me today and taking a little bit of time out of your very busy schedule to speak with us about your plant-based journey. And most importantly, thank you so much for all the work that you do for animals through your very, very delicious and breathtaking content. Really.
Thank you.
You're welcome. It's such a delight chatting with you. And yeah, take very good care. Thank you for joining, everyone, and we'll see you next time.